All right, to both of you. Let me share my screen with you. And you're going to start, please, Maria Elena. Let me do this first. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be using, all right, to follow certain parameters and to evaluate your presentations. As you can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say, parameters, all right? But not all of those parameters are going to be like a scored. I don't know if you understand that. Not everything is going to have a score. Some of them are extra points that you can earn, and some of them have no effects, like for example, this one. But it's going to be important because the last presentation, this is going to be really important following this specific time. All right. So these three, and these are going to be in green. These are the main ones. How you're going to be paraphrasing. I'm going to notice how you are, let's say, saying things in your own words, right? That's important. This is 33 points because everything is divided in three. So it's going to be 33, 33, and 33. The first strategy is paraphrasing. I'm going to see how well you do that. The second strategy, of course, no Spanish. This is more radical. Of course, if you start using some Spanish, perhaps I can accept some words, but it's better if you don't do it. If you don't do it, you have the 33 points. If you use some words in Spanish and you forgot, of course, you're going to be losing some points there. And here, synonyms, very related to paraphrasing your ideas. Now, how you can earn extra score is by pronunciation. Be careful with the words you use, how you pronounce them. This is not going to affect your overall score, but this can give you extra points. Fluency as well. This is not going to take points away from your score, but this only can give you extra points if they are needed. If you have a really good score, this is not going to be applied, okay? Only if you need them. So this is going to be like, let's say, in yellow. And the last one, 10 minutes. Again, please, it has to be 10 minutes. It can be a little bit more, perhaps, but if you finish everything 10 minutes and let's say maximum 10 minutes and 30 seconds, this is going to be great. Because the last oral presentation, if you have less than the time, you're going to lose points. If you speak more than the time, you're going to lose points. Here, you're not going to lose any points, but I'm going to write how much time it took you, all right, to make the presentation. And that's it, all right? Please take everything into account, and we're going to start with you, please, Maria Elena. Maria Elena, are you ready? Let me know, please.
Sorry, I'm not in the list.
Yes, Annalise, sorry. I'm going to add something here. I'll add you. All right. There you go. Okay, perfect. So all of you are here now. So Maria Elena, let's begin with you. Again, do you have any questions before starting? Maria Elena, let me know, please.
No, teacher. It's everything clear. So should I have to share my screen, right?
Yes, that's correct. Give me 1 second. Look at this. I don't know if you can go. If you want, look, if you watch on my screen, this is what I'm going to be using. All right, I can send the link if you want. I don't know, perhaps you can also use your cell phone. That's going to be
Yeah.
up to you. But just in case, if any of you want to use this, you can go there. And when you are there, you can click in the red, okay, arrow. If you click in the red arrow, you're going to have this, let's say, stopwatch. And of course, I'm going to be controlling 10 minutes. All right. So let me stop sharing my screen. And you can start sharing yours, please, Maria.
Yeah. I don't know how to share my screen.
Try to see that down below you have some options, right? For example, you say the participants,
Yeah.
security, the chat,
Yeah. I found
and
it.
share
Yeah.
screen.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. You can see it?
Yes, that's perfect. Yes, I can see it very well. I think your partners can too.
Okay.
All right. So when you're ready and when you're about to start, tell me so I'm going to start the timer as well.
Okay, teacher. Let's start.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to talk about things that I learned about Japan according to my experience. Um, I've been in Japan 2018, and I had the opportunity to know this amazing place, which was one of the country that I dreamed to visit and to be there and to know about the culture. And I think that that was like a dream come true. I've been there representing Bolivia, and it was a unique and amazing and wonderful experience. Okay, first I'm going to make like an introduction about Japan, about the culture, something like that. Well,
Perfect.
Japan has a fascinating and multifaceted culture. On the one hand, it is like a step in the deepest of traditional dating, back like 1,000 years ago. And in the other hand, as all the world know and as we know, um, wait, it is like a society in a continual state of rapid influence. So this is one of the country who has a technology development and that constantly push it back to the boundaries of the possibilities. So I think this is the part of what is make it as it's such fascinating country to visit. And and also I have the opportunity to know this both kind of difference. So wait me a second, please. Ah, it's okay. Well, I'm going to talk now about some etiquettes that I learned. Okay, say itadakimasu. It was it is like when you a meal at Japanese table is not just free for all. Politely wait for everyone to be seated before saying itadakimasu. But you have to do making a reverence, and this expression, it's like I'm humbly receiving the dinner or the I don't know whatever meal, or maybe if you are on the breakfast, something like that. And at the end, it is also like part of this culture to say "Gochosama deshita," and it is have the meaning like that was a great meal. What else? And also, if you do this, for example, when I've been in Japan, I love it to do this because my chaperona and also the other people that I knew from Japan, when I did that at the first time, they got like, "Whoa, you know that." So I think this is like important thing to know about some country that you want to visit. Here, there is some example. Okay, another etiquette is to use the tray. Many stores will have a small tray to place the money in. Wait, I don't know okay, yeah, money in when paying for an item, rather than handing in directly to the cashier. So this is one of the thing. So it is important because when you are like buying something, you should you should put the money in the tray, and if you gave like in the hand of the other people, it's like kind of unpolite. So they considered this like a rude form to receive or to give the money. So you should also know about this because Japan have like a kind of different etiquette, so we have to know this. And also there is the tray, and also present your card. This is more like for a business, but also we did this in a like a party. The party in Japan is so weird. Well, if you have a business card or meiji, present it to your new acquaintance at the beginning of the meeting. So hold the card. This is one thing that is so important to know, that you have to hold the card with your both hand, like doing like this. Because if you gave like just with one hand, they also believe that it is unpolite. And also it is important to put in front the person for the reference, because like making staring with the other person. I did this in a party, and it was like I've been there in Japan for a beauty pageant. In we had like a party, and there were a lot of sponsors, so they gave you a card with your name and your country. So you had to go to the sponsor and to present yourself, to introduce yourself, and you have to say, hi, hello, my name is Marilena, I'm from Bolivia. Bolivia is in the heart of South America. We have this. You just had to talk with that person, and you have to give your card. So if you like to that sponsor, they will call you or something like that. Okay, slippery, it is a compliment. This was kind of weird, and I think most people also know about this. And for example, in our country, it's like unpolite, and some it's not acceptable to do that. It's like rude. But a country with so many strict etiquette rules, it's come as suck to many countries. It's slurping noodles or soup while eating is perfectly acceptable in Japan, and it was kind of weird for me. In fact, slurping isn't just acceptable. It's actually like they consider this like a signal of the food that you eat is delicious. And also it was like it is like how can I explain this? It's like the best way to feel the flavor of the noodles and also the food. Um and at the same time, they say that sleeping can also minimize the message that you made when you are eating. For example, helping to prevent to broth from sleeping or your clothes or when you're eating. What else? Kimono. Um, mm, mm. Well, the Japanese kimono is one of the world's instantly recognizable traditional garments, and well, it is a kimono. The meaning is clothing, and it started in the 19th century. And where else? Well, and there, I don't know if you can see, there is some picture. And I had the opportunity, the incredible opportunity to wear this dress, this costume dress from Japan. And it was an incredible because it has like the way to wear, because it's not just the dress. You have to put like kind of tissue. I don't know. They use a lot of like like I know. Sorry, I don't want to talk in Spanish, so I'm going to try to explain in English. They put a lot of another thing inside the dress. So I don't know if you can see. I had like Quasimodo there. They put a lot of another thing, and also the flip flop. It was so uncomfortable because it's made of uh, like how I can explain it. What is made the table? Yeah, I forgot the name, but well, what else? I think that is everything, and it's just like a summary of what I live in Japan, because I had a lot of things to say about this amazing country. So thank you very much for your attention.
Perfect, Maria Elena. Thank you. All right. So I didn't want to say anything, right? Because I just wanted to see how you were going to handle that kind of situation. I think it was great. You respected. Well, the very first thing, I'm going to do some feedback to begin with.
Mhm.
All right, some feedback. So the
Okay.
time you respected it, right? 10 minutes and some few seconds. So it was great. All right. That's the very first
Okay.
thing that I said that it is great.
Great.
Then I think you did it very well. At the beginning, you were saying, right, I'm going to do like an introduction to do this and that. I think that's great because in a certain way, it helped structure your ideas, right? And you were going to tell us what you were going to talk about. And I think that's the best way to start a presentation, right? To have an introduction is always the best thing. Again, right now, don't worry, the rest of you don't have something similar in terms of introduction, but it is good that you did it. All right, I want to also mention that. Now I'm going to copy and paste some words, all right, in the chat. You can take a look at those words or expressions. Those are some things that perhaps they're they are not perhaps wrong, all of them, but you can improve. For example, the pronunciation, the way you use those expressions, and so on and so forth, right? For example, the word constantly and the word uncomfortable, right? Those can be the stress for those words are in different places, right? Constantly, uncomfortable, right? Like in that place, constantly uncomfortable. Then instead of there is some example, it's better, and if you want to use example, example is countable. So you should use here either plural or only singular. So it's better if you say there is an example or there are some examples, right? It will be better like that. Then you were mentioning about the business card and you said something like to put in front, right? But to put what in front? So it's better if you use the pronoun it, right? To put it in front, right? To put it in front. Then there were some sponsors. That was good. It was an incredible, but you didn't mention what. So perhaps you could have said you were talking about the kimono, I think. Yes, the costume, right? So it was an incredible, you can say, experience, moment, right, opportunity, and so on and so forth. And the material you were talking about, it was wood, right? I think for the flip flops, that's wood. So in general, those are the things that I can see, but everything else, it was very well explained. It was, I think, something also that is going to make us learn a lot because many of those things I didn't know. So very briefly, before going to the next presentation, Maria Elena, I have a couple of questions for you. All right? It's referred to your presentation. The first
Okay.
one, you knew all those things, right? For example, the etiquette rules and some other things that helped you be in Japan and feel comfortable with the things you do or you did. By mistake, and perhaps you did this, did you do something just by mistake that was uncomfortable for you or that was uncomfortable for other people?
Yeah, maybe when as Latinas girl, we are like when you're loud,
Mhm.
yeah, you're like and
Okay.
I had this kind of situation where my chaperone say like, "Slow, don't talk too loud," and okay.
Okay.
So they are like more how can I say this? They don't talk too much.
Yeah, you can say
Yeah.
they are quieter. You can say
Yes,
they are
exactly.
quieter.
They are quieter. And I think that was everything because I when I've been there I was like so curious. So I always ask to my chaperone or to another people, another girl, to know more about Japan because it was a dream come true. So I had to learn about this country, and that's it. And in the future, if I have the opportunity to go back, I'm going to go and
Okay,
oh,
that's perfect.
and learn more because it is just I don't know maybe the 20% of everything that Japan has.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. There are many things because it's a way different culture, right?
Yeah.
So the last question, and this is more like self-evaluation, let's say, something like that. How did you feel while you were working on this presentation? And what was the hardest part of doing this for you, Maria Elena? Or everything was like fluid for you, you feel comfortable with everything? What was the hardest part of having this oral presentation?
It wasn't easy. It was so hard because I didn't know which topic that should I have to talk.
Mhm.
So I was like trying to find some topic that I know, because I think it's more easy when you know or if it's an experience. I think that because I wanted to talk about a movie, but I didn't know how to explain that. So I think, okay, I'm going to talk about some experience. I think it's more easy.
Okay. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you very much, Maria Elena. So the scores, okay, everything. I know I rather do this privately. So tomorrow in the conversation, I'm going to show you how I was completing the chart that I showed you. All right, how many points you have in the first strategy, second, third, the extra points, etc. So that's something that I'm going to show you tomorrow. So that will be everything with you, Maria Elena. So please stay also in the class. We're going to be listening to the other partners' presentations. Okay?
Okay, teacher.
Perfect. Thank you. So this is going to be okay volunteering. So I don't know if someone wants to continue after Maria Elena. Let me know. If not, I'm going to choose one of you, please. Anybody? All right. So I'm going to pick one. So Viviana, what about you? Let's continue with you, please, Viviana.
Yes, teacher, I'm here. Hi.
All right.
I want to know or to try if I can share my screen from my cell phone. If it's not, can I send you my presentation, please?
Yeah, of course.
And
Of course.
okay, thank you. I will try it now.
All right. So again, for the ones who were kind of late, I'm going to share my screen first while Vivian is going to try to do it very quickly. Again, I'm not going to show, of course, what I was writing for Maria Elena. It's in the different place, but these are the parameters that you need to take into account, all right? Paraphrasing, no Spanish, and synonyms. As you were able, for example, to see in Maria Elena's presentation, she was paraphrasing, avoiding using Spanish and using some synonyms of words or using other expressions, right, for something she was not remember. So she used and she was applying these three strategies. So I'm going to see how she did it, and I'm going to assign a certain score over there. And you have extra ways of earning points, right? If you want +5, you have to work on your pronunciation, and you want extra 5 again, you will have to work on your fluency. That's going to give you extra points. It's not going to affect negatively, it's only going to give you extra points, all right? And time is something that is not going to affect your score, but you need to take that into account for the following presentations. With that, I'm going to stop sharing again. And Viviana, tell me when you are ready to share, or see if you can share it, please.
I'm trying, teacher, but I think I can not do it. Sorry, I will try again one more time.
All right. If not, send it to me and I'm going to share it.
Okay, teacher. Thank you. I will send you, teacher. I can not do it.
Okay.
Sorry, teacher. I trying to send. Have you have Facebook? Sorry, I think I cannot share for another way. I don't know.
WhatsApp, I'm going to give you, well, it's my full name. If you look up, okay, on Facebook with my full name, I'm going to write it on the chat. Try
Okay,
to do
okay.
it there, all right?
Okay,
And
sorry,
also,
maybe another
yeah,
partner. It could be exponent as well. I
exactly.
sorry,
Exactly,
sorry,
that's what
teacher.
we're going to do. Don't worry. My full name is there. Try to send it there, and I'm going to download it. All right. So in the meantime, let's continue with you. Where there, Annalise. Let's start and let's continue the presentation with you, please, Annalise.
Okay, teacher, I will send my presentation.
Okay. If you have there also, you can share your screen and you can share the presentation with us. If you're having problems, you can send it on WhatsApp, perhaps, or again, Facebook. If you look up my name on Facebook, you're going to find it. Now, who has the presentation ready now to share it? I don't know.
Me, teacher.
Okay, let's do it with you, please, Valentina. If you can share the presentation now, and we're going to continue with you. Okay, perfect. So it's there. I'm able to see everything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start the stopwatch. Tell me, as Maria Elena did, please, Valentina, when you're ready, tell me. I'm going to start, and I'm going to start also the stopwatch. Valentina, I think your microphone is off right now.
I know. I have problems.
Okay. In the meantime, please
Okay.
also you try to.
Now,
Okay, you ready, Valentina?
yes, I'm ready. Sorry, I have problems here.
But did you solve those problems? Are you ready to start?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so you can start now, please, Valentina. Go ahead.
Okay. Why adopt a homeless dog? Dogs depend on humans of their everyday needs: food, water, shelter, veterinary care, love, and more. Yet thousands of animals across Bolivia have no guardian to care for them, let alone a warm, comfortable place to curl up at night. Many suffer and die on the streets or have to be euthanized for lack of good homes. Animal homelessness is a complex crisis, but the solution is simple: adopt animals from shelters or the streets instead of buying them from breeders or pet shops, and prevent unwanted animals from being born by always having your companion animals spayed or neutered. Animals are often abandoned by the people they depend on the care for them. Why are so many homeless animals? Breeders and pet trade are major contributors to this crisis because they bring more puppies into a world that doesn't have enough good homes for all the animals who already exist. People who don't have their animal companions spayed or neutered are also to blame for animals' homelessness. Some may think that letting a cat or a dog have just one litter isn't a big deal, but that one litter can quickly lead to hundreds or even thousands of animals. Many people acquire animals on a whim, give them as a gift, without considering the lifetime commitment that's involved. When people discover that caring for an animal requires more effort, more money, time, and patience than they expect, they often turn their backs on their loyal companions. How can we help homeless animals? The most effective way is to prevent more unwanted animals from being born by making sure that animals are spayed or neutered. Every animal who is sterilized prevents potentially hundreds of thousands more from being born, only to suffer and die on the streets, be abused by cruel people, or be euthanized for lack of loving homes. Benefits of adopting a homeless animal. Types of dogs. Well, the benefits of adopt a homeless animals are because you will save a life, because you will get a great animal, because all pets are good for your health, and because adoption helps more than just one animal. Because you will save a life. The number of euthanized animals could be reduced dramatically if more people adopt pets instead of buying them. When you adopt, you save a loving animal by making them part of your life and open up shelter space from another animal who might desperately need it. Because you will get a great animal. Most animals are abandoned because of a human problem like a move or a divorce, not because the animal did anything wrong. These dogs are just waiting for someone to take them home. Because all all pets are good for your health, but adopted offer an extra boost. Not only do animals give you unconditional love, but they have been shown to be psychologically, emotionally, and physically beneficial to their companions. Caring for a pet can prove a sense of purpose. And when you adopt, you can also feel proud about helping a homeless animal. Mm. Because adoption helps more than just one animal. Overburdened shelters receive a lot of animals every day, and by adopting an animal, you are making room for others. Because you will change a homeless animal's whole world and get a new best friend out of the deal. Seriously, what could be better than that? My experience adopting dogs. I adopted two dogs. The first one is Zeus, a dog who I saved not to soul. Now he's part of my family and the loved one of my parents. The history of Zeus is that the owner of Zeus was my classmate in the university in Sucre, but he lives in a small apartment. So when he had a Zeus, when he has a little dog like in the first picture, I was the babysitter of Zeus because when he traveled to visit his parent or when he has an exam, I had the babysitter. And then Zeus started growing up so fast, and he told me that he has to sell Zeus because he needs money, and Zeus is going to be a big dog for his apartment. But I convinced him to give me Zeus in adoption. And now Zeus is with me. He's a really big dog, but he's the happiest dog in Sucre. Is the partner of my grandparents, and I miss him so much. Now he has 2 years. I adopt him when he had 6 months in the second picture. And the second one is called Roski. She was found on a garbage container in El Alto, here in La Paz. And when I adopted Roski, she was very tiny, like in the first picture, and malnourished. Like, and she only weighed 1 kilograms. And then with love and care, she grew up healthy and happy, like in this picture. And when I decided to adopt Roski with my boyfriend, she was this small, like my hand, and she was malnutrition. Uh, she needed so much love and care. For example, she couldn't walk because her feet can touch the street, and I always had to take care Roski with me like a baby. And then in only 2 weeks, he weighed like 4 kilograms, so fast. And then she started growing up, and now she is so big. And that's when I discovered the truth of adopt a rescue animal, a homeless animal. She is the most thankful puppy that I had, because it's so different with Zeus. Zeus was adopted, but she came from a family. He didn't suffer, but Roski, yes. And now you can see in his face the change in her face. Now in the beginning, in the first photograph, you can see she was sad. That was the first day. And then now she's smiling. These pictures is a recently picture, and you can see the change here. And to finish, you can buy love, but you can rescue it. So adopt, don't shop. Thank you. That was my presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Valentina. I'm going to stop this. So I'm going to go to the main part. All right, it was close, right? 15 more seconds, it would have been 10 minutes, but it's okay. Your presentation lasted 9 minutes and 45 seconds. All right, again, I'm telling you that because right now it doesn't matter in terms of the score, but again, in the future it's going to matter. So 9 minutes and 45 seconds, it was great. Just 15 seconds, so it's not going to be negative in any sense. Great. I really loved the topic that you chose. I think that most of us, perhaps who are here in the course, love animals, right? It's really something that, I don't know, it's really meaningful. And everybody has perhaps, I don't know, a companion, right? It could be a dog, a cat. So it's really something that we really love. I think, at least speaking just by myself, I can say that I love, right, animals. I have my two companions, a dog and a cat, and they are my whole life. So it's really great that you had the chance, right, of rescuing, let's say, those two little companions that you have. One of them, perhaps, right, it was a situation related to your friend. The other one, it was something worse. But let's go now to the point. All right, I really enjoy your presentation, and I think that is really important to talk about that. Even though we love animals, right, sometimes we are not aware of this kind of I don't know, complicated situations because there are still many dogs in the street. There are still many mistreated animals. So doing something to help those right beings is always something important. So it's really important that you were able to transmit that information. And again, thank you for that, Valentina. Now, what I'm going to do, all right, again, as I did with Maria Elena, I'm copying and pasting certain information in the chat. Some of them are related to pronunciation and some of them are related to other things. All right, let's go to them first. Some of, well, the most of them, sorry, are related to pronunciation, but not in a bad sense. They are not that bad pronounced, all right? But this can change. For example, the first one is going to be like guardian, right? Guardian, like the there. The second word, the second time you read that word, it was better. So it was good, I think. It was unwanted, right? Unwanted. The third word, you pronounced this word 2 times, but it was different the 2 times. The second time you said something very close to abandonated, right? But that's not correct. You have to say only abandoned, right?
Abandoned.
Abandoned. Exactly. The second, the next word is going to be sterilized, right? Sterilized. The only change there, as you can see, I'm using a Z instead of S. The only difference there is American English and British English. British, I'm going to write with S, all right, sterilized with S. But Americans are going to write it with Z, all right, sterilized, that Z sound. The next word is overburdened, okay, oh, sorry, burdened, okay, overburdened. The next one, of course, is a word, and of course, the name of the dog was thought of being in Spanish, which is Zeus, but in English, it's going to be like Zeus, right?
Zeus.
Exactly, right? Zeus. They were conjugated, or you were conjugated this word. Be careful because you were talking about past, but you were using present. For
Okay, yeah.
example, all right, you said, for example, Zeus start, okay, growing up, but it should be started, all right, started. That was the right thing. Then you say, I adopt, right, him, but it should have been, I adopted him, right, because it was past. The next word, it was an interesting word that you used, right, malnourished, or you can talk about also malnutrition, which is correct, but
Yeah,
malnutrition,
it's the same because when I was looking that word in the dictionary, I was
exactly.
malnourished and I said malnutrition and I didn't know if it was correct or not.
Yeah, yeah. No, you can say malnutrition, but malnutrition is going to be like a noun, right? A noun. For example, that dog has malnutrition, you can say, right? But malnourished is going to be related to something that is describing something, all right? Like an adjective. Then be careful with the second part. Remember that we have feet, right? We have
Mhm.
feet. But animals, they have paws,
Ah,
right? So you can
pause.
say her paws couldn't touch. The mistake also there, you said can't touch, but it was past, right? So it's better if you say couldn't instead of can't. All right. So just be careful with those things. Again, I think it was well structured. You prepare everything very well. Perhaps you centered in the information you had over there. You didn't have the chance of paraphrasing that much, perhaps in the experiences you were telling, right, in a certain part. But most of it, right, you were and the information that you got, which is not bad, right? But next time I would tell you to do, for example, something else there, Valentina, and I would like you to have, besides the information that you have there, it will be a good idea that you have a pause there and you start talking about something that you can remember at that moment so that I can see more or less how you can improvise there. Okay? But in general, it was good.
I have
Thank
to
you. Tell
send
me,
you my presentation or not, teacher?
yes, I was going to tell you that, please, all of you, please, you have your folders with your names in the folder, in the A14 folder. Upload your presentation over there. Okay, you have to upload the presentation over there. Again, all your names are there. Just go there and upload it where it has to be.
Teacher,
Okay.
sorry, I
Now,
have a question. I don't have the link of that folder.
the folder. Okay, Maria Elena,
Yeah.
I think give me your email in the chat, and I'm going to add
Uh-huh.
you there.
Okay, okay, teacher.
Okay, perfect. So that's it with you again, Valentina. Thank you very much. Now we're going to continue. All right, we're going to continue. I don't know if you perhaps, Jaime, if you have your presentation over there ready to share your screen before I can download the works that your partner sent.
I do, Jose. I do.
That's
Good
perfect.
afternoon.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Oh, good evening. Let's then continue with you, please.
Okay, give me a minute, please.
Don't worry. So Maria Elena, I'm adding you to the folder. You're going to be able to see everything there. Again, as always, all the presentations that I use are there. And you're also going to be able to find the folders with your names, find yours, and upload your presentation
Okay, teacher, thank you.
there. Perfect. You're welcome. Again, if some of you have other questions, you can let me know. I'm going to be answering in the meantime.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can, Jaime. Very well.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, let's do it, please. All right, yes, I can see it. Give me 1 second, please, Jaime. I'm going to add Maria Elena here. All right, it's done. And Jaime, when you're ready, the stopwatch is clear, and I'm going to start. Tell me when you're ready, and I'm going to start with the
Give me a
stopwatch.
sec.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay.
I think your partner's also.
They're ready. Go.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jaime Arevalo Encinas, and I will present you a brief resume of one of the most practiced sport in the world, and for me, the best sport in the world, swimming. Swimming is something that is related with our lives since the first days of our life. Since the beginning, water was part of the daily life. We use water basically for everything, and even to survive. Also, one of the essential skills that human beings need to have is being able to swim. Um, since the prehistory, swimming has been an useful tool for hunting, traveling, and setting up in different areas. Without swimming, you couldn't move to different areas or even change of continents. The beginnings of swimming. Swimming as a sport began in the early 19th century in Great Britain with the creation of a national swimming league that was founded in London in 1837. As you can see in the picture, those were one of the first competitions that we had at the beginning. Also, the first international champion of swimming was Tom Morris, that won a competition in the Thamesis River that is in Great Britain, and it was a 1 mile competition. So you can say that swimming was not born in the pools. I was born on the natural river a natural river. After the sport became popular around the world, especially in New Zealand, USA, and Australia. This is a fun fact. Australia and US are the main countries of swimming, the top scores when they go to the Olympics, for example, or the World Championships. Swimming at the Olympics. Swimming is an official sport of the Olympic Games since the first Olympic game, basically. The first one was in Athens, celebrated in Athens in 1897. At the beginning, that was just men sport, and then in the second or third Olympic game, they include women as part of the program. Swimming is also called with track and field the kings of the games. That's because they gave the most big number of medals at the games. Basically, swimming has 17 events with two gender, like male and female. So basically, they say the country that win the games must dominate these two disciplines, and that's true because US is the king of swimming, and also dominates a lot of the events of track and field. I have a quick question. I want to do this interactive with you, Jose.
Okay, perfect.
You know what is the meaning of the Olympic rings?
The Olympic rings. No, I don't really know what's the meaning of those rings. I've watched them everywhere, but I don't know the meaning.
Do you know why there are 5 Olympic rings?
Perhaps the number of sports that were in the Olympics the first time. I'm not sure.
It's okay. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's because we have 5 continents. So each ring represents how can I say each continent. And fun fact, they related each continent with a ring and a color. For example, America is blue, Asia is yellow, Africa is black. I know it's bad, but they did in that way. Ocean is green. And what I'm missing? Europe is green, and ocean is red. Also, the color of the rings are the color of the whole yellow. All the countries with the color in all the flags on the countries are in this flag of the Olympic Games, even the white. Strokes in swimming. We have 4 strokes. There are 4 official strokes in swimming: freestyle, breaststroke, backstroke, and butterfly. Also, the events are divided in these 4 strokes with the different distances. For example, for freestyle, we have 50, 100, 200, 400, and 1,500 meters freestyle. And for the other events that I told you, we have 50, 100, and 200, butterfly, breaststroke, or backstroke. As you can see in the picture, we have freestyle here. We have breaststroke, we have butterfly, we have backstroke. There are 4, like I told you, the oldest one is breaststroke. Also is the hardest to learn. Freestyle was created by the English swimmer John Trudgen, and is the easiest to learn and the first one that you learn when you're a kid. Backstroke, created by the American Harry Webner, and it's also the rest and the easiest stroke because your heart rate doesn't go as up as the other ones. Butterfly is the new stroke, the baby of the strokes, and also is the most demanded stroke. If you do a relation, you burn 1,000 calories for half an hour of swimming on butterfly. To do in that for running, for example, you have to run a 10K. It's an example. Also, I forgot here, but it was important. We have another stroke that is medley. That is the combination of the 4 strokes. You swim the 4 strokes in this order: butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle. And you have 100, 200, and 400 meters of this competition at the Olympic Games. Also, swimming is not just what you think. Disciplines that make swimming. The biggest thing in swimming is the FINA, that is the International Federation of Swimming, but they call it FINA because of the Spanish, and also because the president has been living and running this institution for 30 years. Julio Maglioni, he's from Uruguay, and also FINA, it's Federación Internacional de Natación Asociada. I'm just telling in Spanish because the meaning, okay? Most of the people think that swimming is just swimming in the pool, be chronometered by time. But actually, swimming has an Olympic sport. It's an Olympic sport compounded by 5 disciplines, and these 5 disciplines are awarded at the Olympic Games and also World Championships. The first one is open water, as you can see here. And this is a marathon, basically like running, but you have 5K, 10K, and 25K. These are run and natural body of waters like rivers, lagoons, and oceans. And that's one of the disciplines that I do. I'm a national champion in swimming and open water. You have a water polo that you can see here. That is basically soccer on the water. You have 6 players and 1 goalkeeper, and it's with a ball, and you have a, I don't forgot the name of I forgot. Well, to score a goal. Then you have artistic swimming. That is, at the beginning was just women, but today they made a mixed duo with a guy and a woman. That basically it's it's easy to see, and you think that it's not that hard, but it's one of the hardest and demanding disciplines of swimming. The picture is here. And finally, you have diving. At the beginning, you just have 3 meters, 5 meters, and 10 meters diving. But in the last days, you have the high diving added at the Olympic Games, and it's at 30 meters diving. All of the swimming, all the disciplines that compound swimming are hard. I think that's why it's one of the greatest sport, and the best thing of all is that at the end it doesn't hurt your body. You use swimming just not just to burn calories, feel better, but also to relax as a therapy for your body. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Jaime. So I'm going to stop this over here. Thanks again. Very close to the last presentation. All right, 9 minutes and 43 seconds over here. Again, this is something that most of you are going to do. Either is going to be some seconds right before those 10 minutes, some seconds after those 10 minutes. But again, it was great. I really love the way you did it because, of course, you were using information that you know very, very well, and that was very noticeable, right? You were showing certain pictures, and because of your experience, because of the relationship you have with that sport, and also because you've been using this language related to that sport, I can see that, of course, you know very well how to use those words, how to express yourself in that specific field, and that's great. All right. So again, in terms of time, it's great. We fulfilled everything I was asking for. 10 minutes, a little bit less, a little bit more. It was in between that. I'm just going to copy and paste these things that I found here. Of course, some perhaps slips, let's say, over there, but only those little things, right? Resume, perhaps, or resume is used in a different way. It's better if you say like a brief summary, right? Or a brief history or something. It's way better instead of using the other word. Then you can say that. Then you said the other word, right? Natural body water. But it's better also you can say natural environments or some other expressions like that because you were saying, right? It was not water actually in a pool. And the last part, just one little thing about the pronunciation. Oh, sorry, the conjugation of most of the people think, right? Instead of things. That was a little thing over there. But again, it was good. It was great. And mainly, I have some questions for you, Jaime, a couple of questions to expand a little bit on more of that knowledge. You mentioned all of those styles in swimming, right? Do you know how to do all those four? And what is the one that you practice the most?
Yes, I know both the fourth. My best style, if you want to say, is butterfly. I swim butterfly. I'm national champion in butterfly, and also I'm a record holder in an international medalist in that style. Um, I think it's the hardest one because it is, trust me, to try to practice and to train that style is very demanding. Uh, and the worst stroke that I have, if you want to say, or style, is breaststroke.
Okay, okay.
They say that look like we look like frogs when we're swimming, you know.
All right, all right. That's the one you mentioned. Well, which is the one that you said that was the hardest of them all?
Butterfly, butterfly.
Okay, all right, all right. You mentioned also the, let's say, amount of calories that you burn when you do that, and you were
Mhm.
comparing, right, to the calories that you burn when you are running, for example, and so on. So it's really like you mentioned this once, it's a really complete sport, right? So
Mhm.
I want to tell us, please, and explain us a little bit about your training, because we know that to have some endurance, right, resistance, and many of the skills that you need to swim right that amount of time or that distance, you really need to prepare yourself, right? For example, for a competition, how much time do you need to prepare yourself, Jaime? And what was the biggest competition that you had?
For example, a normal day when I used to, well, before all this thing happened of the quarantine and everything, I used to practice double, like every day double, 2 hours each session. So it was like 4 hours of swimming, 1 hour of gym each day. Except for Saturday. Saturday you have 3 hours of swimming and then you have one of gym. But beside that is a lot of practice and also it's so repetitive because you have to do like the same thing so many times that it's very demanding, not just physically but psychologically too. So it's a hard sport in that way. Um, so that's basically my preparation. You have to have a nutritionist, a physiotherapist, your training, your physical trainer too. But in Bolivia we don't have that. It's just like basically you have to do by yourself, like looking for those opportunities because the government doesn't support us. And I think the greatest event that I was, it was a world championship, and that was in one was in Rome, the other was in Lima, Peru, and the last one was in China. So I was in three, and in that level you can see the difference that makes, like, little details makes a big difference in that when you are in that level, like international and worldwide level.
Okay, okay, yes, I imagine all those things that you were mentioning, and it's a shame, right? The support that the government, right, don't have towards other kind of sports, but football perhaps is the one that is supported, right? Let's say for the
It
government,
is.
but the other ones, and you can see, I think, not just swimming, but you have other sports in which we have world champions,
Champion.
right? But those are not supported. It's a shame, but it's really good that you can tell us all these things, everything that is involved there. So again, it was very educational, let's say, to learn all those things. Also about the Olympic rings, it was new to me. It was weird, right, about the colors, but it was great to know that. All right. So thank you very much, Jaime. We're going to be finishing here with you. And again, tomorrow in the conversation, as with the rest of you, I'm going to let you know the score. Okay?
Thank you very much, Jose.
Perfect. Thank you. Now, Viviana, I have your presentation over here. So I'm going to share my screen and you're going to be the next. Okay?
Okay, teacher.
Perfect. Look, I'm going to do something also so that I can watch the stopwatch. I'm going to make this smaller and it's going to be just right next to your presentation. And there you go. Okay. So there you go. It must be sharing now. All right. Here it is. Also, and whenever you're ready, please let me know, Viviana.
Okay, I'm ready, teacher.
All right.
Can you see me?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay. Hi, my name is Viviana Villarreal, and today I will be talking about The Untamable. It's a book written by Ruben Schumacher. Ruben Schumacher is a writer, director, and actor that was born in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And he writes this book to talk about the performing arts. You can pass the So the main topic of the book is what is a performance. All the book talks about how we can recognize a performance and what are the main structure of a performance. So performance is a term that was used in the 60s by the visual arts like needed because they have to protest and they want to be seen more. So they use it performance, and that term now you can see and you can use it like a protest or like a painting walls or something like bigger in the streets, and arts that is like more political. But performance is what happened between audience and a scene. And as a scene, in between those things, there is like a magic things I can say, but there is an interaction that is have to be face to face. This audience and this scene have to be in the same time and in the same place at the same same times and same place, and I forgot, sorry, and the same times and the same place. These two things are essential. What is a performance? What not a movie is a performance because it don't have these factors. The audience and the scenes are not in the real life at the same time. we can pass. We are going to talk about the first main characteristic of the performance, that is the architecture. Here we have to talk about many things. One is the interaction directly between the audience and the scene. That was talking about is the main characteristic of the performance, but also in the architecture we can see clearly here in the first picture where these two characteristics, the scene and the spectators, cross each other and meet each other. This is the first things of the architecture that was really important. We have here in the picture, the Italian theater, that was the main and the most common probably in the world. If you think of a theater, you automatically see in your head this picture, I think, that is the spectators in a seats and the actors or the dancers or the musicians in a scenario. But it is not also the only form of performance or the only form of the meeting of these two things. We can have face-to-face, like more close. There are theaters just from one person. There are more interactive theaters because the theaters have changed a lot in the history. We started with the Greek and Roman Colosseums, and then this Italian theater that was the most common, but now we have many, many forms of performance. Then we have to talk about the building. Sorry, we are in that, yes. The building that contains this encounter and this meeting of the two. Then we have to talk about not just only the building, we have to talk about the all that surround and around the building, the streets and the city and the town and all the factors that were important because they have a connotation in the theater. For example, we have here the Teatro Colón in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and it is placed in the middle of the city. So that is important to what the people thinks of the theater, because they have seen like an important theater. If you go to another theater that is maybe more far away from the center of the city, you see that it's not so important and it's so not recognized. And all the structure of the city are think about this. Yes, now the next. Okay, the next factor that we have to talk about when we are talking about visual art, about performance, are the visual arts. Visual arts, all the how the human eye can see. When we go to a performance, we can see the colors, we can see the actors, we can see the dancers. Also, we can see our seats. All the visual things have an importance of when you are doing a performance, when you're directing a performance. Here I have two pictures of Bob Wilson. Bob Wilson is an American director, very recognized American director that works most with the visuals and the movement. The movement tells a story. I will tell this later. So this director works with the colors and with the dramatic movements. That makes all the visuals really, really important. Some directors don't think that this is important, maybe because they take more importance to the dialogues or or maybe the acting of himself. But when you are seeing a performance, is really important to know what you want to talk about in the performance. Next, please. Next. The next is sound arts. Sound arts are really important too, because sound art will guide you the time of what is the performance. When you start listening, the performance starts. When you stop listening, the performance has stopped. So it's really important. You have to think where these sounds are to. All these characteristics have to be combined if you want to create a complete performance and very organized performance. In the first picture, we have a musical that is Next to Normal. Next to Normal is a musical that now is in the theaters of Buenos Aires, but is an American musical. Next to Normal, we can see in the top of the scenography, the musician, all the band is in the top. Sorry for the picture, it was the only that I could find. But here we combine the visual and the sound art, because you can see the band and it is part of all the performance. And then I have a picture of one of Bob Wilson's films too. No, sorry, films, Bob Wilson performance too, that it has to be all with the sounds as really important. From my experience, I can share something here that is that I went to a blind theater that you can see anything, so the sounds were really important there. The next, please. Finally, we have the literature. The literature will be the fiction part of the performance. You can tell a story with your body, is not necessary like a literature with writing like Shakespeare or something, because the movement also creates fictions. A body that is dancing also is a body that is creating fictures. But we have here two pictures that demonstrate that. In the first, they are two persons that are falling in love. In the next, there are two persons that are fighting, 3 or 4 or 5 persons that are fighting. So you can see through the bodies where is the language, and it is important to know how the actors can do and what the dancers can do to count on its history there. And well, I think that my time is over. That's all that I can talk about this this book, and I hope that it was interesting and helpful.
Thank you very much, Viviana. So we'll stop here and we're going to see how much time it was. And of course, we're going to go to the next presentation, but I'm going to give you all the feedback, sorry. Yes, Irma has been paused over here, perhaps 10 minutes and 30 seconds, more or less, right?
Okay.
And the time you stopped. So it was great over there. Now we're going to do something. Again, this is very, as it was your presentations in general, very educational. We can see that the things that happen in the theater, right, are very, very complex, right? They are very, very complex. And of course, this is one of art that most people here in Bolivia, perhaps they are not used to consuming this kind of art. But again, this is really, really interesting to see, to know, to also know that there are other kinds of, let's say, performance on the stage, right? Not only refer to something that you can see, but also refer to some kind of presentations or performances which include only sounds, or in which the sound is really important. Perhaps not only or sometimes for the performers, right, actors and the dancers and so on, but also for the spectators, right, who are there. Now, what I'm going to do, because I didn't want to write that there, I just sent you a message on WhatsApp, Viviana, with some words and with some things that I'm going to correct right now before going to the next presentation very quickly. The first one, this is the first, or these are the first, right? Because you mixed the singular with the plural in one of those expressions, right? So be careful with that. Instead of the scenario, right? Because that's going to be something different. It's better if you say on the stage, right? You have some spectators right there on the seats, and you have some dancers, some performers, and so on the stage. That's a better way of saying that. Instead of more far, right? Remember, far is one irregular adjective, and instead of that, you can say farther, right? So the right thing there was if they are farther, because you were talking about the distance of something. The next one, it was about the pronunciation, dialogues, right? Dialogues. And then another way of saying this last thing that you were mentioning is this one. Some arts will guide you in terms of the time, right? You say it differently, but it was not that natural. So it's better if you order the sentence in this way, all right? So this will guide you in terms of time, when to start and when to stop. Okay, those are the main things, Viviana. Again, thank you very much. Everything was something, well, most of this information was new for me, and it's really interesting to know these things. I don't know if you have any final questions or comments, perhaps, Viviana, let me know.
No, it's okay, teacher.
Perfect, thank you very much. Now, let's go, please. Again, I know that we have two more, so we're going to try to do the two consecutive ones. Andre is not here. So, Annelise, were you able to send me your work?
No, now I can share my presentation.
Okay, that's perfect. Let's do it, please, Annelise. And again, when you're ready, you tell me, and I'm going to start the stopwatch.
You can see?
Yes, yes. Start, please.
Okay, now I am beginning.
Okay, perfect. Okay, start, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, teacher and mates. Today I'm going to expose about craft beer production process. My name is Annelise Guzman. I divide my exposition in 8 steps. The first is milling. The objective of milling the malt grain is to extract the maximum possible amount of sugars and soluble substances. And the crush matters because it affects how well the starches, sugars, and enzymes present in the grain will be exposed to water during mashing. So first of all, sorry, I don't begin with the introduction that beer is made by 4 ingredients that are water, hops, yeast, and malt. And in some beers, for example, in industrial beers, they use some brewers' adjuncts for lower costs. So the second process is maceration. That is a process in which every brewer mixes hot water with milled malt. The result of this union of components called wort. This process serves to convert starches into fermentable sugars, and you have to play with the temperatures and the time to obtain malty beers or drier beers. For example, until 65 degrees Celsius and up, you have a malty beer. And with 60 and 65 degrees, you obtain a drier beer. Wort boiling. During the boil, the wort boiling is mainly for sterilized wort and to add the hops and clarifier. The hops add bitterness and aroma, and the clarifier helps to clarify the beer in maturation. During the boil, some of the water evaporates, concentrating the wort. The amount of evaporation varies with the size and geometry of the kettle. The next step is the fourth, that is a chilled wort. The brewer has to go down temperatures from 90 degrees Celsius to 12 or 24 approximately, depending on the type of beer. For example, for lager beers, you have to down to 10 degrees, more or less. And for ale beers, to 18 degrees or 20. In this process, it's important the time, because if you go over an hour of cooling, this can affect the flavors and aromas for the beer. The first step is fermentation. It is a process where the magic happens. Some brewers said that the brewer do the work, but the yeast do the beer. Once the wort is cooled, it's put into a fermenter where yeast is added to it and begins the fermentation. The yeast eats the sugar, creating carbon dioxide, alcohol, and subproducts. And the main differentiation of both are the carbonated time. The natural is about 2 or 3 weeks, and the first is in 1 day. The next step is maturation, that basically consists of keeping the craft beer resting at certain temperatures and time, with the aim of improving its characteristics. Maintaining the correct temperatures throughout this stage is very important for the quality of beer. In this process, you have to remove the yeast, and there are a time, depending of type of beer, that, for example, the period of time in lagers is about a month or 2 months for maturation. And for ales, it's only 2 weeks and maximum 1 month. The seventh step is bottled and carbonated. The brewer has 2 types of carbonated that are natural and forced. The first is natural carbonation, that is when the brewer adds a certain amount of sugar to the bottle or to the fermenter, and happens a second fermentation where the yeast produces carbon dioxide and a little of alcohol. And the second is forced carbonation, that is carried out with the injection of carbon dioxide at a certain temperature and pressure. Normally, the temperature of this carbonation is to 0 or maximum 3 degrees. And the last one is stored, that it's important for the store, because you have to have a good cold chain and a product care, because this can affect the flavors and aromas of the beer and the expiration time. For example, if you carry your bottles and there are a lot of sun, this can generate aromas really bad for the beer. Or if you are in a country, for example, that have higher temperatures, for example, to 25 and up, there are bad temperature for the beer, and it can alterate their flavors or aromas. And the adequate temperature for the store, it can be to 3 degrees and maximum 18 degrees, more or less. And I finished my presentation.
All right. Thank you very much, Annelise. Let me see. I'm going to stop the stopwatch. And there you go. All right. So then the first thing that we're going to be working with you, and again, thanks all of you for being here. I know it's going to be time. We're going to finish the class, with the poll. Your presentation was 7 minutes and 26 seconds. All right. 7 minutes and 26 seconds, Annelise. So again, the very first thing that you should work for the next presentation is that you should add some extra time so that you need to get up to 10 minutes. All right, that's going to be the very first thing. It's very important to get up to 10 minutes because look, the very first 3 presentations are only 10 minutes. But again, this is not going to affect your score, as I told this all of you. But in the last presentation, it is going to affect, and it's going to be 15 minutes, right? So if you get, let's say, 30 seconds less than 15 minutes, you're going to be losing, let's say, 2-3 points, and it's going to be reducing the score you have. All right. Right now, it doesn't affect, but I want you to be prepared for the last presentation. Now, in terms of the information, I think this is really interesting, right? You were writing also about this, and you're writing essays, which is also really interesting to know, and it's really important the way you are doing this because you are preparing yourself to use this vocabulary, right? Not just in writing, but also in speaking, and that's really important. Of course, these processes that you are talking about are really important, but it's really, again, really interesting because, look, I don't have any idea of how to do these things. So to know these details, perhaps the words are complicated to understand, but it's really interesting to know these kind of steps that you were talking about. All right, perhaps you can add for the next presentation some extra examples, let's say, to illustrate more or less what you're talking about. Or even you can get some pictures. That would be a good idea. If you're going to still talk about this kind of topics, it would be a good idea to have certain pictures to know more or less what's the process like, right? And it will be interesting. And then you can talk about that. You can say that this person is going to do this and that, or that they need to add this to take off that, and so on and so forth. But again, in terms of the corrections that I wrote, I was writing everything in the chat. You have some of them. Instead of exposition, right, or expose, that's going to be something different. To expose something is to show the truth of something, okay, to develop something. So it's better if you say only presentation. This is my presentation and I'll talk about, or my presentation will be about, right? That's going to be better instead of exposition or expose, because that's going to be mainly used in other kind of context. Okay? Then you have for this process, the order here. This is very common when we're mixing some Spanish with English. For example, you said it's important the time, right? In this process, it's important the time. But in English, we really need to be sure what you're talking about. You're talking about something that is the time. So the time should go first. All right. So for this process, comma, the time is important, right? Instead of it's important the time is important. That's better there, and it's the right order. Then some things related to pronunciation would be subproducts, right? Instead of soup, let's say subproducts, and differentiation, right? Differentiation. That was close. And in the last one, this is the last thing that was very noticeable. When you are talking about this kind of numbers, remember, it's not only going to be 7, it's going to be 7th, right? The 7th step, the 8th step, the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, and so on and so forth, right? With that TH, that is that kind of number that you were using in your presentation. All right, that would be it, I think, for all of you. Again, thank you, Annelise, for this presentation. Take that into account, please. Mainly the time. Try to make it a little bit longer, and try to organize those ideas with some pictures, because as your topic is really complex, it will be ideal to show more or less what you are talking about. Okay? Perfect. So to finish, again, as you know, this time you were the ones who prepared everything. I don't know how you're going to work this poll, because the poll is about the preparation of the class. But again, I have to do it. This is daily. Please check the poll, fill in it, and we're going to be finishing the class. All right? If you have any questions, please let me know. You know that tomorrow in the conversation, I'm going to give you your specific scores, and I'm also going to give you some extra feedback. But in the meantime, this is what I can give you. So two people did it. If you can complete it all, we're going to be finishing the class. I wanted to conclude with Andrea, but I imagine that she's going to start the next class with her presentation. Something mustn't happen. So again, have a great night. Thank you for being here. And if you don't have any more questions, we can leave the class. All right?
Okay, thank you, teacher. Bye. See
Thank
you
you,
tomorrow.
teacher. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Take care.
Hi.